the characters have several attributes, and one of them is called hope, and that one specifically determines like how long they're banished for when they basically get tagged out.
Okay.
So that's like the specific gameplay effect it has, but it's just kind of like it's just like an example of how you, through these interactions that you have with your characters, you can they affect the characters at least to a certain extent. It makes you kind of consider the relationship that you have with them and how, just like in whatever, for us it's like kind of like in real life, what you say to someone, how you say it. Sometimes it can have the effect that you do or don't expect, and it's like, oh man, I didn't mean it that way or whatever.
Often it's the latter.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
No, so I mean, having those kinds of moments where, and realizing that these characters are coming to sort of respect your point of view, and just, you know, they want to know what you think. You're someone who's traveling with them. It's just almost this kind of I've been talking to a few other folks, almost this kind of fantasy road trip kind of vibe to it. That you travel over like a long period of time in the game, and getting to, you know, if you travel with someone for like 3 or 4 days on the road, just kind of camping, like you get to know that person pretty well. Yeah. So that we want to like explore that as part of this game.
So there's a lot of narrative in Pyre. It really tells you a little bit about who these people are before you even begin that actual competitive, or the rites, the ritual, I guess. So I guess I'm curious, what came first, the story of these three people, or the fact that you all wanted to make something that was a very different gameplay genre than the previous games you've made?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so for us, this may or may not be a surprise. The story pretty much never comes first at SuperGiant. Okay. It may not come across that way, but we're very much like a gameplay-driven studio. We prototype our gameplay first, but we think about narrative the whole way through, and how narrative can enhance the kind of play experience that we want to create. So in the case of this game, one of the starting ideas was a desire to make a game like with an ensemble cast. Like, we like making characters. I think Gen Z, our art director, she is good at making characters. I think, and other.
I would agree.
Yeah. So
she's gonna make a character.
I'm like, man, our previous games, they've been focused on like specific characters, and they've had casts that are like 4 or 5 characters deep, and that's it. So in what we're showing today of Pyre, there's like as many characters in this, 25-30 minute sequence as like in all of Bastion or whatever. So that was appealing to us. We're like, if we make a multi-character game with an ensemble cast where there isn't really like a protagonist character per se, what would that look like? And then that evolving into thinking about like, well, it's a game in a world in which these characters have to rely on one another to get each other like through hard times together, and that's kind of where a lot of it flowed forth through that, and we started getting more specific from there. This story of like exiles in purgatory and having to like complete this kind of cosmic ritual with its specific and kind of arcane set of rules and all that sort of stuff that you played.
What were some of the influences behind Pyre? Like, were you all playing a lot of competitive games, and you decided just to think, we should do something that's like this?
This is always like brutal for me to answer, because it's like, it's so hard for me to say. No, it's good. It's like, it's just so many things, right? Because I actually personally can't separate, like, I think so many of my influences are like old. It's just like stuff from when I was a kid that I still happen to care about after all this time, and that's just me. And then like for our influences are always like very personal from one member of the team to the other, and sometimes they're so personal that we don't even share them with each other. They're like very guarded. Yeah. We just find a way to like stir them all up into a pot and kind of put it out there. But I think to give you something a little bit more specific, I think it is the team dynamic that I described. This idea of a group of characters who all have personal goals, but who have to depend on one another to get through a tough situation, and this resembling like this starting to take on the shape of like a team. It's something that we can relate to as a small group of people working at SuperGiant, having to work together to accomplish a shared goal, and sometimes, not always getting along when it comes to every single decision, but finding, navigating our way through those tough times together and trying to get to like a shared positive outcome. So I think for me personally, as the writer, that my experience as a member of SuperGiant Games, having gone through, we've been around since 2009 now, and we've gone through thick and thin together, and thankfully we're still here, and really, really grateful for people showing up, waiting in line to play our game, and then saying nice stuff afterwards. We would never take something like that for granted. So, thinking about how we got to this point and what it takes for us to continue to do that is something I think a lot about. So, I actually haven't I haven't put it that way before, actually talking about this game until just now. So thank you for asking in such a way that made me articulate it in that way. Yeah.
Oh, I have my moments.
You heard it here first. How when the different teams kind of work together, you can kind of create something that you may not have expected in the first place, but it still can be something special too.
Yeah, with any luck, for sure. Yeah, all of us. It's true of all of us at SuperGiant that our biggest, we've all been doing stuff as individuals prior to working together at SuperGiant, but our greatest successes have been together through this weird process that results in games like this, and we really value the process that we go through, even though again it's not always easy for us. We kind of but we feel like if we I'll speak for myself on this. I feel like if I'm not sort of struggling creatively, then maybe like the bar is not in the appropriate spot. Like it should be
a challenge.
I like the struggle in a certain way. I have a bit of a masochistic streak, I think, when it comes to some of this kind of stuff.
You have to work for it.
You gotta kind of have to drag it out of you. Yeah. Then it's like, then you feel exhausted afterwards, but then it's kind of like, well, maybe then it's appropriate as kind of a release for whatever it is you wanted to do. Yeah.
It's cool. It's true.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
If I had to, if somebody said, "Hey, Aaron, did you try Pyre?" I would say, "Yes, I played it." And if they said to me, "What game comes to your mind when you think of it?" Like if I had to describe it to someone, I would say, I guess, and I don't want this to sound reductive at all. I would say ice hockey.
Yeah,
for the NES.
That's fine. Yeah, we've had a few folks make that.
And I say that only because of the different characters. And that's the thing. Ice hockey is simple. Ice hockey is you have a little guy, a slightly bigger guy, and an even bigger guy. But here, the question that the larger character asked me about how she asked me basically, I admitted to her that I was intimidated by her, and that affected her, and that affected the gameplay.
Right.
That's something you never see that. And then the character that I guess you are playing is one of the options was I think you can forage for food.
Yeah.
You can learn another spell through the book.
Right.
Or you can
mentor.
You can mentor
the characters. Yeah.
So the reader is almost like a coach.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. Exactly.
So it's like the ultimate narrative driven road trip sport. It's like a blending of so many things.
It's cool.
And it does them all what I played very well. It's very unique. It's its own kind of thing. Yeah. You all have done it again.
No, we're not nearly there yet, but thank you. Yeah, that is a really cool take on it, and I think you're onto some of our dirty tricks. I'll just say.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just to say, like you said that gameplay kind of comes first and then story comes afterwards. And actually, it's interesting to hear that because it always seems like the games have a really strong connection to the story. Well, it's really well mended together.
That's me desperately trying to latch onto stuff in the gameplay. But I mean, we think about it all together, but we don't. We never. The point is that we never back solve the gameplay. We never go oh, we have this wonderful story. Let's because the thing about that is if all we had was an idea for a story, there's like better media to express that. Like write a damn book or like write a screenplay or whatever. That's like a purer form of So for us, like telling using the unique properties of a game, which is the player's interaction, to both deliver a story and for us, it's like it's got to be the whole package. So it has to start with the way that you interact with the game, but then it becomes very symbiotic also.
Okay. You do a really good job putting them together. I'd have to say, like,
Thank
it's
you.
really nice.
we're gonna keep trying. That's for sure. So.
Well, the little I played, I am very interested in this game. It's firing on a lot of different cylinders that I would never thought about somebody merging together. So the one thing I did notice was there was no Logan Cunningham voiceover.
But there was. In fact, he was not one but two characters. Sorry, someone's.
Sorry.
He was not one but two characters in what you played.
I'm glad to be wrong.
Yeah, he is the unusual the voice that you hear like during the rites. That's him.
That's
He's got quite a range as an actor.
He really does.
And he's also he's the voice of another character. That you played. So we're everybody's keeping busy.
He almost sounded like a younger, energetic Vincent Price.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some of that.
Yeah.
That was. Wow, he really does have
he's capable of some kind of.
He's even more talented than I thought.
Yeah, he is a talented guy. Yes.
No, I thought he was talented to begin with. So
that's cool.
Are there people here waiting to speak with you? But the game looks great, and I look forward to hearing more about it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's good to see you again.
Thanks.
Yeah, great job.
Take care.